Destiny swapping has become a major buzzword lately, and rightfully so. Gifted ones have been victims of stolen destinies since the beginning of time. But now, in the age of Aquarius, what was once hidden in darkness is finally being revealed. So, what exactly is destiny swapping? It is when someone attaches themselves to your gifts and talents, your divine favor, and benefits as if it were their own. Let's take a look at how Sean Diddy Combs handled Biggie's legacy. When Ready to Die was remastered, instead of letting Biggie's voice stand on its own, Diddy inserted himself all over the project. His ad libs and commentary are layered at the start of songs and all throughout. So now, when you press play, the first voice you hear isn't Biggie's, it's Diddy's. In a sense, he's repositioned himself as the gatekeeper of Biggie's sound, overshadowing the very artist he was supposed to honor and promote. So now, every time a song plays, Biggie's legacy is filtered through Diddy first. And that's not preserving Big's legacy, it's consuming it. And that right there is symbolic of destiny swapping, taking someone's divine gift and attaching your own name and your own likeness so that their favor benefits you. The mogul, formerly known as Puffy's ex-girlfriend, Jennifer Lopez, has benefited from a similar sacrifice. But we'll talk more about that later. Destiny swapping also shows up as people using their proximity to you to steal access to your divine blessings and favor. They stand next to you, and suddenly the path God designed for you starts unlocking for them. We see this with Diddy, who was never known as a great rapper, and Jennifer Lopez, who has often been criticized for her limited singing ability, and also with Beyonce, who, despite being packaged as a triple threat, has never been celebrated for her acting. Yet, all three have benefited from success in those lanes after attaching themselves to the actual talent around them. How can someone steal your destiny? One word: proximity. All someone has to do is get close enough to you to mimic you and then sabotage you. Proximity would also explain Diddy's propensity for being all over the records and all up in the videos with all his artists. Proximity also explains how Puffy went from a label executive to being Biggie's best friend, his mentor, and the biggest influence over not only his music career, but also his personal life. Which brings me to my next point: monitoring spirits. So, another way your destiny gets stolen is through monitoring spirits. Nosy behind the scenes energy that watches everything you do so it can prey on you, prey against you, and or sabotage you. The more someone knows about you, the easier it is for them to mimic you, embody you, and replace you. Faith's role at Bad Boy served a dual purpose. Not only was she Diddy's artist, she became a tool for Diddy to spy on Biggie even more closely, as she and Biggie were married just 8 days after meeting at a Bad Boy event. According to this quote from the posthumous memoir of Diddy's ex and the mother of his twin daughters, Kim Porter, Diddy supposedly commanded Faith to date Biggie so that he could monitor him. The very term being monitor reveals just how sinister and deeply rooted spiritual warfare is. Kim Porter's book also reveals Diddy's lack of remorse for supposedly setting Biggie up by sending him to California, which brings me to my next point: the sacrifice. To sacrifice someone is to set someone up by setting up their downfall or by sabotaging them in ways that will bring about their end. Considering Biggie's subject matter mostly regarded him being ready to die, it appears as if Diddy always knew he would sacrifice the young, talented artist. With life and death being in the power of the tongue, Biggie penned hit after hit, speaking his very death into existence.
Yo. So, hello?
Somebody got to die. If I go, you got to go. Somebody got to die. Let the gunshots blow. Somebody got to die. Nobody got to know that I killed your ass in the mid. Somebody got to play on. Turn your head round. Take off that crown. You've been round.
Speaking of manifesting your own downfall, Aaliyah had a propensity for being surrounded by predatory men in the industry. The Carters being associated with Aaliyah's death is nothing new. An explosive interview with Mary J. Blige resurfaced, where she cites Aaliyah's death as being a spiritual M-word, red rum. Also in the interview, Jaguar Wright accuses both Sean's, Combs, and Carter of directly being responsible for Aaliyah's death.
Dame also revealed that Jay used to invite Aaliyah over to his parties to try to seduce her, but she always felt unsafe and extremely uncomfortable around Jay.
Jay was trying to get at her as well, and I didn't know. He was sending flowers and he was courting her.
Because the rumor originally was that you were connected to Jay. Exactly. Jay and I were hanging out a lot. He's my homie. We had a lot of fun together, but we never dated.
Now, like I said before, after Aaliyah died in a plane crash, it was rumored that her death was sacrificial and orchestrated by the higher-ups, including Jay, R. Kelly, and of course Diddy. At the time, it sounded a bit wild, but Mary J. Blige was not planning on letting Diddy and Jay get away with it. So she had done an interview a few days after Aaliyah's death and confirmed that it was indeed a planned. But according to Mary, this wasn't just a regularly planned murder. It was a spiritual one that was orchestrated to end Aaliyah's life way sooner and used her soul to boost the careers of some very powerful people.
My crew, we put, the stylists, we gave everybody ribbons, and this, I don't even know what to say. I just know that was a murder. You know what I'm saying? That was a spiritual, whether people know it or not, because God don't kill people. You know what I'm saying? Whether people know it or not. And I could go deep, but a lot of people, I would have to really bring proof, you know what I'm saying, for what I learned. And she just was cut down in the prime of her life. And it's so unfair. And it wasn't time. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't, I believe it wasn't her time to go, because from what I know, it ain't supposed to go down like that. And just simple obedience, like, your gut always won you. That your gut never lies to you. And something like luggage and clothes and jury and all this madness that we worship is called false idols. We need to really look at the bigger picture right now.
And get this, y'all. Jaguar Wright also stepped into the chat and confirmed everything Mary said. However, she gave us even more details about what really went down and said it exactly how it is. Jaguar alleged that Aaliyah's death was planned by Diddy and Jay, and that Jay was the one who told Hype to put Aaliyah on the plane, knowing very well she wasn't gonna make it out alive. Jaguar claims the reason why Jay did this was because he was mad about Aaliyah choosing Dame Dash over him, and that he wanted her out of the way so Beyonce could thrive as a solo artist.
Sean Carter is responsible for enacting Hype Williams to put Aaliyah on a faulty plane to move her out the way as punishment for rejecting him, and so he could level up Beyonce, who was struggling. Let's just say allegedly that happened. Now I want you to think about 106th and Park with Mary J. Blige. Free, who is a victim of Sean Carter. Yeah. Mary J. Blige, who is a victim of Sean Combs, are sitting there talking about the death of Aaliyah amongst each other. Think about that. You got a Diddy victim, you got a Jay-Z victim, and you got a superstar gone. They know what happened. And yet, they had to sit there and have that conversation like they didn't know who did it. Mm.
Sometimes it's hard to get a face where we can actually give a good diagnostic indicators on it, simply because it's hard to find people sometimes not smiling in a picture. But in this picture, if we cover up her left eye and look at her right eye, which is what she shows to the world, there's a hint of anger. I don't know what that's about. Does it have to do with a female? Could be. Is she angry at herself? Could be. I don't know.
If it's what you truly want, I can wear her skin over mine.
When we do the opposite, we cover up the right eye and only look at the left eye. This is a little, got my attention. And I sat a while and had to just let it flow into my soul and just let the word come out that described it. Actually, were two words. She seems a touch lost, and she seems a little empty.
And he's got some real narrowness to his chin, so there's a lot of fire energy, so he's very sensitive. Likes to go on his own, and he's very, very sensitive. The next thing I want to pay attention to is the right and left sides of the face. The right side is what we show to the world, our right eye. It's our public persona. It's what we want the world to see, and it's our mother's influence. The left side is our true inner private self. So if we cover up this guy's left eye, when we look at that right eye, this guy's intense. I mean, hyper-focused, super intense individual. Can that be a blessing and a curse? Yeah, absolutely. That intensity will drive him and make him accomplish what he sets out to accomplish, but that intensity can be off-putting to those around him. Now, when we cover up I hate this part. And when we cover up that right eye and just look at that left eye, this is his true inner private self. I always go with the first thing that I notice and what comes to my mind. And this guy's kind of uncaring. He's almost hateful. And it's, God, I hate saying those things like hateful to describe another human being, but it's what I see. I'm just reading the tea leaves. Notice how unlevel his eyes are. This is a sign of a concussion, a traumatic brain injury. Did he have a physical concussion? My guess is yes. You fall off a horse, in sports, in football, get knocked out or anything like that. You can also have what's called an emotional concussion. You can have so much stress that it literally concusses your brain just like you hit your head on that concrete. So it's kind of interesting. His eyebrows, very different heights. This is a sign that there was parental stress. He probably had less than a stellar relationship with a parent or a step parent. Again, don't know his history. His eyebrows are very high set. This comes across as aloof. He's got high standards, but he chooses which standards he's going to apply to his life. I'm a little uncomfortable saying that. I'm just reading based on what his left eye tells me. Underneath his eyes, some pretty significant adrenal lines. The other lines that come out of the corner and sweep across the face. This indicates he's been under quite a bit of stress. We all are under stress. That's never the question. It's do we adapt or do we maladapt? When these lines get like this, there's some adaptation to stress. Obviously, the stress in his world is probably huge, but probably a lot of it's self-inflicted. The other thing, we look at the tip of his nose, very gourmand nose. This guy's a quality over quantity individual. Again, with that uncaring, hateful side that I see, some of this quality stuff he might obtain in less than stellar ways.
You ready, B? All I need in this life is sin. It's me and my girlfriend. Me and my girlfriend.
Speaking of girlfriends, as I've mentioned earlier in the video, I believe Jennifer Lopez may have gained from what we consider a spiritual sacrifice following the tragic death of the singer Selena. Many who lack spiritual knowledge assume Yolanda Saldivar, Selena's killer, was the one who sacrificed her. But in my view, that's not exactly how it works, because Yolanda was arrested immediately following Selena's death and sentenced to life in prison. It is there she remains to this day. Yolanda was eligible for parole this year, having served 30 years of her life sentence, but that was denied. It seems as if Yolanda will serve the entirety of her life sentence. Also, considering her name is disgraced, that is not the existence that is beneficial of a sacrifice. However, being granted the ability to gain international superstardom for a talent and gift that you don't possess is. Just 2 years after Jennifer Lopez gained notoriety for her portrayal of the singer Selena, she released an album. Lopez, who started her career as a backup dancer and aspiring actress, we can note that singing was not her lane until she assumed the role of someone's it was, and then gained notoriety from it. Jennifer's proximity to Selena's family and her likeness in order to better portray Selena was all the access she needed to assume Selena's identity and purpose. What easier way to do that than to play as someone in their autobiography? It is also on record that Selena's sister, Suzette, who did an interview stating that her family was pressured into signing off the rights to Selena's story so that they could have a say in how she was portrayed. Just months after Selena was murdered, there was already a Hollywood production prepared to tell her story. And Hollywood chose none other than Jennifer Lopez to assume the likeness and thereby destiny of the legendary singer. Because there is much speculation on what does and doesn't constitute a sacrifice, let's discuss it further. For a sacrifice to be considered successful, someone must be benefiting from the destiny of the one who was sacrificed. Any infamy, opportunity, or notoriety gained immediately following the death of someone they were in proximity to can confirm that the person was sacrificed. The transition is usually quick, providing the destiny swapper with immense wealth, fame, and success within the next year or two that follows. Ironically, Dr. Todd performed a face reading on Jay-Z, Beyonce, and Diddy and proclaimed that all three were highly requested. Here's what he had to say about Diddy that I feel are the makings of someone who sell their soul for fame and all that it brings.
You can't look at this picture and not notice the eyes. So I'm going to go through a number of things here that'll help you understand exactly who he is. So if you'll notice his eyes, the whites, there should be white on the right and the left, but not on the top or the bottom. In his case, he's got white three sides. It's known as lower simpaku. It's actually a Japanese term, means white three sides. This is a sign of fanaticism and addictions. So he's fanatical and he's prone to addictions. When we look at a face, the right eye is what we want to show to the world. It's our public persona, it's our mother's influence. The left side is our true inner private self. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to cover this guy's left eye, and when we look at his right eye only, this is intense and it's anger. But the disturbing is when you look at the other side. There's hate, there's disdain, there's just an uncaring energy. I believe this guy could push you down the stairs just with the same emotion that if he gave you a hand to lift you up when you fell. It's an uncomfortable look, his face. If I didn't know who he was, I would give you the same diagnosis. His eyebrows are kind of peaked. So this guy is a person that likes action and attention. This is common to that kind of energy. His nose tip, he's got a very gourmand nose. So he likes the finer things in life. He will be very addicted to the finer things in life and those things that can get you there. Sometimes the diagnostic indicator is what should be there and isn't. And this is, for me, the single most disturbing thing on this man's face. If you notice my lines that come from here down, they're incredibly deep. They look like somebody chiseled them in there. These are called falling lines. Falling means purpose and spiritual strength. By the time you're 30, you should have some. I know I'm on this earth.
I know what my Creator put me on this earth to do. I am passionate about it. I have deep, deep spiritual strength. These come from wanting to help mankind. This guy has no helping mankind in any cell of his body. It is a disturbing marker. And again, sometimes it's what should be there and isn't, becomes a diagnostic indicator. And again, not a fan of doing this kind of diagnosis. Health-wise, he's got some liver issue. The emotional liver is anger. If you look at his eyebrows, they're very thick. Eyebrows are about passion, pride, temperament. What's the root of temperament? Well, it's temper. This guy's got a temper that will be at the forefront. This guy he's just got deep-seated anger issues that go back way before he was famous.
Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me.